Now let's start with PowerShell, but this time I'll be using PowerShell IAC in order to work with all the whatever we have done till now. We'll be now working on IAC. So there are two methods to basically work with IAC. One is press Windows and then type PowerShell, and somewhere you'll find something called as IAC is written. Okay, that's one thing. Okay, I can click on it and PowerShell IAC will pop up. Another approach, the shortcut way which generally I use is Windows R, and then this time you type PowerShell underscore IAC. If you look over here, that's the command. PowerShell underscore IAC. Okay, so this will basically pop up my same PowerShell IAC console. This white area, this is basically called script pane, where basically you will write your scripts. Then you have the blue area over here, that's basically called output pane, where you get the output of whatever you have script you have written over here. And then on the right hand side, it's called commands pane. One of the most important part before you actually start working on PowerShell IAC, knowing the options which are available over here. So this first option that you see here, it says new script, right? New script is basically to create a new PowerShell script over here, to write the code. Next one is open script. If you are already having a PowerShell script available and you just want to open it, one of the easiest method is just double click on that PowerShell script. That will be okay. Another, your PowerShell is open and now you want to open that script. That's the option for you. That's your saving the script. Control S is the shortcut. This is your cutting the code. Control X. Copying the code. Control C. Pasting. Control V. Okay. Now this is the most important part over here, which says clear console pane. Whatever output you get over here, you want to clean it up. Let's say I wrote something, does not make sense only, but let's say I got some data over here and I want to clean it up. One of the easiest approaches, come here, click on it and then type CLS and then it will be cleared out. But this time what I want to clear up everything, but this time I'll just click on this icon and done. This is undo and redo. Okay. This option over here, you can see I kept my cursor on top of it and it says run script. So when you write the entire script, let it be 2 line, let it be 200 line, let it be 2000 lines also, you want to run from top to bottom everything, then in that case we go for this option. Then the very next one, this is going to be very important for us, this one, it says run selection, meaning you have written 100 lines of code, you don't want to run 100 lines, you want to run only few lines from the center. So only that selected path can be executed from here. Okay, practically we have to use all of them. Next one, stop operation. Let's say you started running some sort of loop or something, but it is endlessly going on. You want to break that loop. So here one red color, the square box will pop up. You click on it, it will be stopped. The operation will be stopped. That's the basic purpose of it. Clear? So these are the options which you can basically use in order to work with PowerShell ISE. Here, comment starts with, single liner comment start with a hashtag. Okay, so this is a comment. It's a single line comment. But what if I have to write some sort of like a detailed information over here? Okay, let's say this is multi-line comment. This is what I want to do over here. But hashtags can be used for individual lines. That is one thing. But if you have limited number of lines, this is still doable. I have to write 100 lines in comment only. Can we do that? Obviously no. So in that case, what we can do is we can go with another approach that is called multi-line comment. To start multi-line comment, we have to do this. Okay, so this is a single line comment. You can use it for multiple lines, not a problem. Okay, but multiple times you have to add this hashtag. So better than that, we go with this kind of symbol so that we will be having proper clarity that what needs to be done. And the beauty of this multi-line comment is, if I want to just show you the entire output, I don't want the comment to be displayed, I can just collapse it like this. Okay, let's run some commands over here. The same commands we have executed earlier. Let's use the same commands only, like get dash date, get date command. Okay. Again, I'll write a command called host name, and again I'm gonna run the command called get date. If I go with this command over here, this play button over here that says run script, or on your keyboard you can press function F5. Okay, so if you click on this one, see what happens. It printed date, correct? Then it is printing my computer name, host name, and then again it is printing the date. But also you can see that we have the comments also available over here. Okay, so when you run the entire script using this F5, then in that case it, or function, or this one run selection, if you press any one of them, it will show this compiled data also, and then it will show the output. So generally what I do, I write the command called clear host. Either you go with the command called clear host, or in shortcut you can use CLS. Use any one of them. Now see the difference. Earlier we got all this information, right? It is showing comment, then it is showing the output, the command, and then the output. But this time when I run this entire one more time, can you see? PowerShell always executes from left to right, top to bottom. So the very first thing it did is CLS. It cleared the screen, cleared this blue screen for me. So whatever came, everything wiped out. Next is get date. It prints the date. Next is host name. It is printing the host name, and then again get date. It is giving the date. To print anything on your blue area, on this blue area, okay, you have to like manually you have to print something. So we go with the command called write hyphen host. See, I have not written entire host over here, but it is popping up. Correct? This is called the IntelliSense feature of PowerShell. IntelliSense, intelligent plus sensible. So what you are typing, basically PowerShell is sensing that particular. That makes my life actually very simple. See here, write hyphen. Now whatever I'm typing, basically it is sensing that okay, the user is gonna write something regarding write command. So it gave me an entire list. The moment I start typing, it is basically segregating only that specific command. Okay, enter. This is the IntelliSense feature of IAC. In PowerShell, it is not there. PowerShell console, that blue terminal, it is not there. In IAC, we have IntelliSense. Clear? Now I want to print here something. Let's say hello batch 37 point, but I want to do this. Now when I run this entire line, can you see this permanent? We can do that. No. Something like, okay, it's a good thing. Thank you for taking that point. So now let's say hello batch 37.1. And now what I want is the user should give the input. Okay. It should say something, welcome Mr. Jitu. Something like that. Okay. So I have one simple thing over here. I can take the same and I can do this. But it is gonna only print the data like this. It's the hard coded value. I want the value to be dynamic. Okay. So in that case, what I am gonna do is Now I'm gonna use something called as variables. Okay, $n or $name. Okay, this $name variable does not exist as of now. I am gonna create this variable. Okay, what do you mean by a variable? Temporary storage to store some random value. We have to work on variables. That is gonna be our next topic. Okay. Here I am gonna go with something called as a command called read host to print write host to get the information. Now, what do you want to ask? Enter your or chalo, let's take user name. Okay, enter user name. And here what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just make it $name. $name. Remember one thing in PowerShell, variables always starts with a dollar symbol and it is always called by the dollar symbol. Okay. So now if I run the code, can you see it? First it prints hello batch so and so, enter username. And now I'll write I can rerun the same program again and this time I can write got it now? Now let's make it more interesting. This entire text is in white color. I don't want G2 to be printed in white color. I want the color to be changed over here. We can do that by that. You might have seen in my PowerShell script it is showing. How? That's what we have to do now. Here what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove it from here. If I do something like this over here, it is asking for my name and it is printing like this. Do I want something like that? It should be in same line and the color should be implemented. So here what I want is on line number 7 I have to use a parameter called no new line. The work of no new line is to make sure that the very next line should be continued in the single line only. It works only for one single line. It does not mean after that whatever is written everything will be taken in single line only. No, only with the immediate next line, which is this one. And here I can use a parameter called foreground color. So I'll go with a simple color, simple. Even if I want, I can go with something like background color also. So foreground text will be in yellow, background, let's say, let's make it blue. Let's make it simple. Okay. Now if I run the code again, I know the poor choice of color, but the things are working. Okay. Let me change it. Actually, it is very looking pathetic.